as Christian parents, how do we deal with the barrage of things that are coming that are non-Christian? I had a question about schools becoming more secular and not focused or allowing Christian discussion. Kids playing games or engaging in things like TikTok and other social media that aren't necessarily Christian. As our kids get older, how do we kind of be their coaches on maybe considering staying in the faith versus them wandering? Because we know the statistics are terrible about when they go off to college between 18 and 24. How can we as parents, how can we navigate all of that and doing it the right way, but at the same time not running our kids off from us?
Yeah, great question. First thing, I'm kind of listening to my heart each time I answer. Like, there's so many different ways I could respond. I'm trying to pay attention here. First thing is, you must be engaged. You, as mother and father, I don't even care if you're, living in separate homes because of divorce. You're a mother and you're a father to a child or children. It is your responsibility given to you by God to be engaged intentionally in raising your children. Taking some sort of hands-off, passive, oh, they'll be fine, kids will be kids, without getting involved, you are missing the mark. What your kids are longing for, even though they may not say it this way, particularly like after age 12, what your kids are longing for is you to be involved, to be engaged, to be aware, to know what's going on in their world, in their friendship circle, in their school. You have to be engaged. Don't take your hands off of this one. And here's the truth. So many parents take their hands off of the parenting responsibility. Why? Because they're so busy with their career pursuit. And here's the really disturbing thing about you could get fired or lose your job on Tuesday, and they will have replaced you by Thursday. But nobody else can be your child's mother or father. That's a lifelong commitment. And those first 18 to 22 years are absolutely critical and vital to the people that they will become. So the first thing I'm going to say to you in this tumultuous landscape that kids are growing up in is you have to be engaged. You have to know how TikTok works and what's going on there. You have to know what Reddit is. You have to know and understand what Instagram is about, Snapchat, all of these social media enterprises. They have enormous influence on your kids' lives. They are oftentimes setting the values and the priorities that your children will chase after for the rest of their life. And for you to say, I don't get that social media stuff. I don't even know how to use my cell phone. Well, learn, because they need you engaged. And sometimes you're going to be the heavy. You're going to be the bad guy. You're so mean. Probably enough of you have heard this. Why do you hate me so much? You don't let me do anything. Okay? That's just manipulation. That's a 13-year-old form of manipulation. Is if I say that you hate me because of what you're doing, they're just trying to control the situation. You just need to be bigger and smarter than them and say, I don't hate you. There's nothing about this. In fact, I love you, and I don't want to see you get wrapped up into something. Man, okay, I'm on social media, so I'm not preaching against it. You have to be careful how it's used. And there's a difference. There should be a difference between the maturity of an adult using it and the immaturity of a 10-year-old using it. They just don't have the capacity yet to make all the wisest choices and decisions. And I'm telling you, these devices, they have enormous control. In fact, and this is where my 21-year-old son says, "Boomer," he is, I'm here. I really, the nature of most cell devices, digital devices, it is inherently addictive. And here's how I define addictive. It becomes compulsory. I don't have anything to do with my time. I look at this. I'm feeling kind of mad or sad or, frustrated. I can get lost in here. That's in nature an addiction, is the compulsive way to cope with what I don't like right now is I go to this thing. And suddenly I'm in places so far beyond my reality that I'm high. Did you hear that? That's the nature of how that works. And I know that sounds so preacher-like, and that sounds like such an old fogey-like, but it's the research that I've done that led me to believe that at one time I was dangerously close to being addicted to this thing. Okay, so I guess the short answer is be engaged. Your kids need you to be engaged. And whether they recognize it or not, it is the highest form of love that you'll give them, is to be truly and genuinely interested in what's going on in their life and in their mind and in their heart. And so then the flip side of that would be engaged in providing some direction, some mentoring, some setting the example. So many things happening in here right now. You want your child to go to church, cultivate a relationship with Jesus Christ? The most powerful way to do that is you set that example. You embody that. You show them the joy of that. You show them the hope of that. You show them the impact of that. Because if all they pick up from you about church and God and Jesus is, oh, good Lord, we got to go to church, but and then they're going, I don't have to. And basically what happens is that's the example, the pattern they've seen for the first 18 years of their life. Then they go off to college and they go, I don't have to do that anymore because that was miserable. We fought the whole way to the car. Every Sunday we fought in the car the whole way to church. That was the formidable, the formative impression that you created for them. Does that make sense? And I know some of you are like, oh, great. My kids are 24. And I didn't do it that way. It's never too late to have an impact in your kid's life. It's never too late to show them a new example. It's never too late to speak new words into their life. It's never too late to make the initiative to be involved in their world to the best of your ability with what they'll let you, but it's never too late. And through prayer and the work of God's Spirit in your life, it's possible to get re-engaged. And yeah, there was a lot shaped in my life in the first 22 years, but I'd like to think I'm 60 now. I've made some changes along the way. I'm not the same person I was when I was 22. Thank the Lord, right? So it's possible that maybe some of what you failed to do as a parent in those formative years of your kid's life, that doesn't mean it's over and done. It means now you have a new opportunity. And through prayer and through compassionate expressions of love for them, you can still have an influence in their life. And you can still maybe fix some of what maybe was broken. Does that make sense? But, and I'll tell you, I'm a parent to two boys, 27 and 22. So I get it. I do. I get it. I get it. There's probably no higher calling other than following Jesus than to be a partner, spouse, and to be a parent. I mean, it's at the top of the list of what God's called you to be. You can travel the world and save 1 million people, but if you can't be Christ to your kids, then I have an issue with that. Starts at home. Make sense?